Hi, I'm Annabelle Drumm. I'm from Sydney, Australia.
And I am Jeffrey Carl, and I am from Catskills, New York.
And we are talking about the body chakras, continuing our series of discussions. Last week we did the upper heart, which was split into the three flames, and learned about the masculine and feminine sides of ourselves. What are we talking about today, Jeffrey?
Well, we're gonna since the heart is a threefold flame. It's like the heart chakra is composed of many things, and since it's the center, we're going to go deeper in. We've discussed how the heart was the generator of our blood. It purifies it. It brings back clean blood. It starts the electric magnetic motor in our system. It creates our energy system around our body, the slight electric current that we have. And as we learn about our heart and our body, we can increase that energy and increase that current around us, meaning that's how we start building our light body. And once our light body starts kicking in even more, we really become energized.
Mm-hmm.
And all that comes from our heart. So we learned about how we got into the masculine and feminine side, which is the left and right side of our bodies, which have to be in unison within our heart in order for us to maintain the peace and balance in order to go deeper within and allow the love to flow through us.
Mm-hmm.
But today talk about the I am presence, which is that spark of creation that I'm talking about.
Mm.
It's the seed atom within our heart.
Mm.
Within
Okay.
within that first thing, it's the thing about something so small and something so big, it's when we talk about how something so small as an atom or a nanoparticle can turn into a whole universe.
Yeah,
Because
this becomes a quantum physics kind of thing too, doesn't it? That they often look at the big and the small picture all at once, and that it's all simultaneous. But Buddha also talked about I am, didn't he? The I am presence. So can you maybe explain that a little bit more if people haven't actually heard of the I am presence, what that is?
okay, so every time a soul is born onto a material world like Earth, we're born onto Gaia. And like a soul is the soul is our eternal nature. It's like for instance, there's the big soul of the creator, the father, mother of creation. And then the mother of creation or the universal mother sparks us all forth. And we're all hearts, like I said before, we're all hearts, come out as a spiritual being first. We are souls. We don't ever die. The I am presence now is that my eternal soul part of myself, again, is coming down into the lower dimensions, the lower vibrations, and I'm having a physical body on a physical planet. And I came through a physical mother and father, I came through the physical mother, through her birth canal, through this process. So that makes it that moment that my soul entered into that union between that male and female within to my mother's, and the spark of the creator kicked it all forth within the semen, and then the egg took it all back in. So the fire is kind of in the semen, and the egg is kind of the universal mother. So there's always that same spark. It's that spark, that
Yeah,
little spark.
but the
Is what
I
happens in
am
creation.
presence is more the
So
soul though, isn't it? Rather than the physical body?
no, this is the I am presence. Now, the I am presence consists of the physical all the way to beyond the soul plane. The soul plane is what gets us from here up into the launching pad into the spiritual, the higher spiritual domains that it's just so hard to even talk about those domains because we have to go to the soul level. And that's even hard for most people to understand. And that's
Okay.
beyond the astral plane, which is this other whole energy that we create with fantasy and like everything that we create in this world is pretty much an astral plane or a desire or a fantasy. We work it out. This is a dream we're all living in, and we all work out things, and we support other people in their dreams. That's why there's everything that's on this planet right now. That's all like the Maya of this world. But
So you're saying
the,
the I am presence is the physical body then?
the I am presence is you now being. It's like your soul has taken an agreement to come down into this planet, and but you don't lose your divine connection from being here if you don't choose to. I mean, it's like, it doesn't really matter. So you're here. So at this moment, you start the finite process again of going out into the universe. So now again, no matter who I was and all my many lives and everything else, I'm starting over again as Jeffree Todd Carl. I was born in 1959. That's my I am presence. That's the
Okay.
predominant thing right now. This is why I can clear up past karma. I can create future things. I can do everything because I'm being here now, present in my I am presence. You know, my consciousness, my outer consciousness that's talking with you right now, has to like be unified with my soul. Otherwise, the soul just hangs out and lets us go about doing things. I mean, we don't have to tune into our soul. We
Well,
can
this
just
is the whole waking up process, isn't it? So we've seemed to have spent a huge amount of time not being connected with our soul. We use our brain instead, based on the facts that are given to us or the beliefs that have been taught to us that were not
we
there when
actually
we were
use
a
this
kid
part.
and
We're actually really using our cortex, this
prefrontal
part of it.
cortex. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's kind of like that's the whole scenario. That's kind of this is where the ego and stuff would lie. It's more in the
yeah,
frontal cortex, and I don't mean to say that to divide it up because the self, see, the I am presence as a self. I'm here in this world as a self. That's what I'm saying. When we were born now in this life, we became a new self.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's this I am presence now. Like Jeffree Carl is myself. I mean, my selfhood is a right. Everybody has a right to be a self on this planet. So this is the third part to all the Trinity. Like we have the male and female, we have, you know, our divine part, but we have our human part that's here. That's not separate from our divine part, but the right to be here on the planet is our self-sovereignty or our right to be here.
Right,
We don't,
right. So
we don't,
actually, sovereignty is a wonderful thing that we can make a whole conversation about separately again. So
okay, so,
let's keep
but it
that one
comes
for
back
another
down to what's
conversation.
so
Yeah, come
important.
back to I am.
Because here's where we have the inner part of us and the outer part. Right? So now that we're balanced, that we understand about. So now we want to be into that neutral space. We want to become that androgynous being. We want to be balanced between our masculine and feminine. We want to be balanced between our inner and our outer selves. Like the outer self is talking to you, and then I have the inner part of me that's always has a monologue going on, or is talking, and then I can choose not to be there. If we just want to not tune into our hearts, then we can still run and think and remember and calculate everything with our cortex, which would be the ego, which is not always connected with the heart.
No,
It's this,
it's just running by the calendar a lot of the time, isn't it? We've got chores to do, we've got
yeah,
stuff
it's
to
just
do,
going and it
things at
doesn't have this
work.
little,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
right. So that's kind of like the lower part of it. But once we tune into our heart, then we can start to expand our consciousness even more. Because now we're going to tune in, and then we go to our soul. So we allow our soul to come in. So then we're allowing the love of God to flow through us. We're allowing that, you know, the first basic thing is the law of love, which means that basically the Creator, the Mother, Father, Creator, and most of all the angelic beings and helpers of the world, love us dearly. They love us so much, but we don't allow the love to flow through our hearts. We are stopping. Because we refuse to acknowledge our soul, we refuse to acknowledge that each one of us is a divine child of of creation.
And I think a lot of that you get taught as a child. You
We
get
never get taught that. We get
criticised, you
taught totally the
get told
opposite.
there are limitations, and there's so much self-talk that comes from those very early years, isn't there? Where if you get criticised by somebody, even if you don't quite believe it, it still sits there as a question or a doubt that you can carry right through your entire life and never really stop to think about, oh, is that true or not? Am I carrying that because it's true, or am I carrying it because I believed it at the time and never bothered to question it?
Right. It's also like we find it's like we don't have to go out to find God. God is within our hearts. This is what it's like. So, so the whole thing of my own presence also is that I know that, you know, I'm this total being that I have all this like greatness that lies in me. I have, you know, I'm a being that can go from all the way down to the depths of everything and all the way up in this direction. I can go all the way to the east and all the way to the west, and I have all this like things going around. And also I have that divinity in me. And also I'm part of the universe, the unity consciousness. It's like, when I say that we're all gods and goddesses, I don't mean that we're the God that you worship, that I would worship you or I would worship that. It means that I understand that the flame of love flows through your heart, and that's the reflection that you reflect back into me, and we reflect it through our eyes, and we allow this creation to flow through us, and then our soul, we can allow these energies to come in through us, and then we start to get more dimensionality to us. We can understand our emotions more because, we understand that we have emotions. We understand that our hearts, and we can, we have anger, we have fear, we have all these things, but we can look at them from another circle in. It's like another circle in and also another circle out. So the deeper we go in, the further we go out. You can look at it's the way
paradox, isn't it? It's the law of paradox. That's the way it works.
But it is that way. That's just what happens. You go deep, like the center. So basically, what I'm trying to do is get you into the center. The center of our creation so paradise. Literally, the doorway to paradise lies in our high heart.
Yeah.
As we tune into our soul, it starts like I said before, that heart controls the pineal gland, which controls our third eye and our true awakening, not like, so we have illusion. See, if you're only coming from your mind and the cortex things, and you get out and you start creating, you're generally creating in this
material
illusionary
world.
state.
Yeah.
Or this psychic state of like control and dominate, where I'm like thinking about how I'm going to manipulate all these people to do the things I want them to do. And you create from that energy, and then you create, weird like fantasies, and the mind will give it enough energy, and that'll create it, but it's false in a sense, you know what I mean? And we do this.
And it's not as satisfying in the end. I find in the coaching that I'm doing, you often get people to come who've been massively successful, but they're not satisfied. They can't figure it, and it's because they have been manifesting in the material world and done very, very well at it. They're masters of the physical world, and yet it's not deeply fulfilling because they're missing the heart within it.
Yeah, because I'm not saying that just because you're in heart that you can't be a master at creating in the physical world. The balance
that's right.
is to
but if you start
be a
from
master
there,
in the physical world, but you're governed by love, and also
as opposed to
you
ego,
understand that this is not the final. My soul is in this body, and this body is my temple. You got to even look at it. Our bodies are this like elaborate biological computer robotic
little machine, isn't it? It's a little machine, a vehicle. It's a vehicle.
Soul comes in. It's really it's a vehicle. It's a real vehicle, and it's like I'm learning, and other people are really digging back into the ancient knowledge, because the chakra system gets us into like the Merkaba. But when you really get into kicking in the Merkaba and getting all your chakras spinning, your body actually becomes a ship. Your whole body can transform and project out and project over, and people have occasionally saw these glowing beings that just went from mountaintops to mountaintops, and they were ascended masters. Anybody who ascends to a certain level, it's not like just Jesus or Buddha or whatever were ascended. There's many ascended masters that you don't know their names because they ascended and
they chose not to be famous. Yeah, that's it.
And they chose not to be famous. But your body, like I say, it's almost like this biological robot machine, because it's all based. And if you really look at the body inside and like when you look at molecules and stuff, they're very animated and they're very like robotic looking. And everything in our body kind of moves in this kind of sacred patterns. As a flower of life, everything moves around in these certain patterns, and our body works that way. And that's what's so beautiful. But when we get into our soul, now we can start to look at our body as not our only thing. Our body now is, like I say, a vehicle. So when we start to go in, then we start to look out. We can look around ourselves. Now we're the puppeteers holding the strings to ourselves.
Right. That's the big difference, isn't it? So yeah, and I've had that explained to me through the channel I often do work with. He talks about getting the point of view of the author of this character. So it's like this character is part of a story, whether you call it a movie or a book or whatever. But when you can get yourself to that point of view where you are the author looking at that character, that's when you really start to be able to I don't know if take control's the right word for it, but you really start to be able to create the paradise on earth that you're looking for by being able to see it. You're no longer just a victim of circumstance. You're not just an extra in the background of the scene. You are the star, but you're the director or the author, and you can work on that character from a different point of view, a much more powerful place to work from.
Right. That's true. So now so you get out, you get that out. So the problem is, because we live many segmented lives, like I'm saying, the soul has one life. It was born. It was created. It wasn't born. It was created as a soul and went out. But every time we live on Earth, in these segmented lives, either we leave a part of our soul, which is the soul shards that people talk about, because we had some emotional trauma or something happened to us, and we leave parts here, parts there, parts there. But we keep going. So every time we have a new life, we get it. Again, this is why it's so important each time we come through, because the slate is cleaned and we get to work from a new point of view.
That's it. And you can make the same mistakes, or you can clean them up, can't you? You can make the same mistakes, but you can also clean up the mistakes.
You can, yeah. Well, usually I'm just going to say, I've been around a long time. I've probably made the same mistakes lots of times over, and then I've got corrected on them, and and it's a process. But each thing is an experience. So I do a bunch of things that maybe I don't want to experience that anymore. Mm-hmm. It's like I have this thing of being the warrior and the healer inside of me. It's like parts of me could just go out and kill and murder and manipulate these stupid people that are controlling our world. Not to hurt the people. I wouldn't ever would have hurt anything that was of love and kindness and children and people, good-hearted people. But, like the other psychopaths and sociopaths that need to be put in time out. Yes, and so it takes a lot of love for me just to transmute that feeling of being the warrior and wanting to become killed. Because I've been in many lives. It doesn't get us anywhere. I've been in, my memory goes back for many of my existences. So the experiences have taught me that it's much nicer to live in love and work out things and remedy and cooperation versus just bonging you on the head with a club or blowing you up with a nuke or something. It doesn't do anything for it. It doesn't mature us as a race. So there's still a lot of people who are on the path of maturing and understanding that
they still think that bonging people on the head is the way to solve it, and they have more to learn yet. That whole, there again, yet another great conversation is that the idea that you can watch the media and you can get very upset about all these things that cannot be controlled, but you can control where you are in your I am presence and the world around you, what kind of person you are, because everything that you do, even if it's a smile to somebody on the street, will ripple out and help people all around you, won't they? I mean, here's you and me, from Australia to America, right across the world. We're making a connection here. And that will ripple out. It'll be people that are watching this now, watching it later, who might read a transcript of it.
It's all the little things that's what's going to make the changes. It's not like the big things, because right now we need it all to come down to grassroots. It's like sometimes we just need to turn the TVs off and just go out and kind of hang out with our neighbors a little bit.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
We just need. I mean, we have this media now, like Facebook and these other things. So we can actually even get more connected with neighborhoods and see what's going on and really kind of talk with each other throughout neighborhoods and groups, like just across our street. I would like to see this even in America. I mean, my daughter and the 20-some, 30-something-year-old, they're really actually getting it going. And so each town and people getting together. I mean, so we'll be able to have this whole connection where we can just turn the TVs off and still be connected.
Yes.
And that's kind of what we need to do, because we know that this media just talks to us and it's just lies and bullshit.
They'll do whatever they can to keep your attention. So if you don't give them the attention, they lose their power.
Right. And then we can start talking with each other, which is what we have now since the internet came in, and as long as we keep pushing forward, then we have communication, and communication is all part of this. It's like we're communicating with each other, we communicate with all the parts of ourselves. This is what brings us closer together. And it doesn't only matter really what we do in our world and how we think, because it does ripple out. So if I don't believe any of the media, I know that I'm loved by the universe, which has been, I've had to showed me 100 times. They flooded me with like vibrations of it, and it's still hard just to really allow that love to allow the acceptance that we are love beings, you know. And
Why do you think that
and
is? Why do we find that so hard?
because the controllers who were blah 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 whatever, they led us through a bunch of shame, blame, and guilt.
So you think that when we're born as a child, that we know that we're loved? Is that what you're saying? And that we learn over time that we think we're not loved? Would that be right?
Yeah, you have to put us out of the pretext because the parents who were born with
They've got their
would be
own
the ones
baggage.
who.
Yeah, so you
Yeah,
can't
but
help
you're
that.
coming to your mom, so you're already feeling you're in her belly, so now you're already feeling that, right? I mean, some tribes have a really loving thing, so the babies are going to come through and they're going to be feeling really loved and stuff until somebody in the tribe does something. But we still have some small tribal areas probably like that. And this is probably other communities where babies come in and everybody really loves them and they feel really loved, and they won't question that. And then they'll have like, the kids start to be able to be closer to the nature spirits and the angelic forces and their guides and stuff, and they'll be able to interact with that. Maybe now we're getting families now who are more conscious of that. I mean, I think it's been, even in my lifespan of the 50 some years that I've been here, I've seen the increase in the acknowledgement of loving, of the whole psychotherapy kind of thing about talking about our emotions and stuff has all come in over the last 30 or 40 years to be like a mainstream thing to where now we're
Yeah.
getting into more meditations and understanding the energetic parts of our bodies and stuff. So it's this whole awakening to that. But this is all because we're waking up to our soul consciousness. And then once we get in there deeper and we feel loved and we feel relaxed, then other beings of loving beings can come and communicate with us because now we're not thinking that there's a devil or like
Right.
we have like
Scared of them.
Kundalini. Yeah, because like even the Kundalini experiences that people are working on rising up the Kundalini and stuff, it can be very orgasmic. It can start running up your legs, it runs up your spine, it runs through your vagina, up your penis, and it gets you aroused, and it can become very sensual. If you're in a loving universe, you're going to say, wow, thank you, God.
That's okay.
Thank you, Gaia.
Yeah.
But if I'm not in a loving universe, well, what devil's attacking me? I'm being possessed by a demon. But
Oh, I'm embarrassed. Yeah, that's it.
it's all this stuff. But so this is where we bring this peace back into us, so that we're acceptance, and we send that out into the world, and we allow the world to send it back to us.
All right. Well, let's have a look at. Let's come back to the I am presence now and see if we can find an exercise for this week as to how we can tune in deeper in order to find the bigger picture. Can you think of anything that we could do for that one?
Well, the most important thing about the I am presence is to understand that I am that I am, is what they say.
Now, that's
The I am
very hard
presence
to
is the
understand
state.
sometimes.
Huh?
It's sometimes very hard to understand. I am that I am.
I am that I am means that I am unified with the unified source of all creation, right? But also when we as human beings we walk around, I'm a writer, I'm a painter. Oh,
Right,
I'm
right.
pissed off today. I'm this, I'm that. So I am everything. But see, when you say I am, whatever follows is what you're stating to the universe. So if you say I am pissed off, then I am in a state of pissed offness. Maybe you need to be in that state, but you have to understand that you put yourself in that state of being pissed off. You can have remedy and resolution to it. So,
Or you can choose to just stay pissed off and be annoying to everybody else. And you have a choice there because that's our free will, right?
because that's what the I am presence is. It's your free will.
Yeah.
It's your free will to determine what you want. So I am. That's why, all the masters stuff. So you go out and if you're not into spirituality and stuff, I'm going to go out, I'm going to be the best writer in the world, or I'm going to go out and, I am this, and I'm going to be doing that. So it's all that. And it's okay because that's the self. But the self, when it becomes too overstrong, becomes the ego.
So what can we do to get more balanced? What exercise can we do?
Well, you have to reflect. We have to reflect on accepting that you're loved by the universe. And I know
That's hard for some people. That's really hard.
I know. I just got the flash when I said that. It's like, you can say I'm loved, but how about if I'm coming from an abusive situation and the household I live in is pure hell? They're bombing the shit out of my town over here today. Where's love and all this stuff? Well,
It's learning to maybe accept yourself even as you are right now. I mean, we're not perfect, right? If we were perfect, we wouldn't need to be here in 3D form. or any other dimensions, you know, that. So if we can go, okay, this is where I'm at the moment, and I'm looking, I'm open to becoming more heart-centered, but but this is it. This is where I am. This is who I am. And I often use that term, here I am, as well. If I find that my mind's all over the place and I really need to focus, if I just go, here I am, okay? This is it. And then you stop and you think about, what's it feel like in my head right now? Or, so you can do your body count, work your way through, what do my shoulders feel like right now? What do my feet feel like right now? Where am I? What can I hear? What can I smell, taste, see? And just get present. So that helps a little bit, doesn't it? Is that what you're thinking would be helpful to get to the I am state? Or are you thinking more along the lines of learning love rather than just being present?
Well, it's about like analyzing what you say behind the I am all week. Like think about,
okay, that's a good
when you
one.
say I am, what are you putting behind the I am? I am what? I am.
And take a look at it, because it creates your life from there forward, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's the major thing. So, you know, you can have moments where that you sit in meditation and you say, I am that I am, which means that I'm totally in that state of completeness. I don't need anything or anybody. I'm just now in that moment of peace. I mean, if you sit there long enough in that state, that's the samadhi. You're just there, and the universe is just going around you. You just become almost neutral, so neutral. Then if you become really balanced and neutral, you just disappear because no one's going to see you because you're so balanced. You'll just be blending in with everything else around you. I mean, that's the achievement of this. Right now, we're just trying to get our hands on our hearts to try to even get into that heart space. But the 0 point total balance within your I am presence, you would be flickering in and out of visual light reality to people because you'd be so balanced. And I think there's going to be that time is coming where we're going to see more people being able to access the higher, truly higher things, and not just being like, you know.
We're not just talking about it anymore. We're really
not just talking. Once we get all of our systems organized, we just got into the deepness of our heart. We're understanding the system. We're understanding the left and right. Now we're starting to get, so from now we're going to go to the higher chakras, which just means the faster vibrations, or the more, we're going to start to get into the cosmic things, so communication, like words and stuff came in. From now we're going up to the throat after we're leaving the heart area. So really the heart was, the big green thing would have been the whole big part of our heart. Then we'd have like the blue and fuchsia, that would have been the swirling of the male and female. That's kind of creates this yin yang that goes through and up and down our body. And then deeper in, we have that other, like a sun, like a star, as bright as could ever be, but it's just really small and it shoots out, and it's like, it's all of our possibilities of what we want to be ever in creation. It's not bad to want to be everything. That's the thing. It's like, we want to be everything. We want to experience it all. It's like even the most highest gods, the angels, they come back down to the lowest parts of the universe in order to experience it all, and they grow back up. And this is how the weaving of life in and out and goes around. So it's a good thing to have many I. It's a good thing to have a billion things behind the I am. But it's also a good thing to understand that I am, which means that I'm okay just being who I am now in a moment.
Yeah.
Too, you know?
As well.
And to be... and to give that gratitude to the Creator. Know that we're being good children. I mean, see, the thing is that the Creator lives through us. The Mother, Father, Creator lives through us. So there's 7 billion people on this planet. So we're feeding back 7 billion different perspectives.
That's it. Yeah.
To the Creator. So and everybody's.
That's our job.
And and then they love it because that makes that's why people say, well, that can't be a being, but yet. I understand the Mother, Father, Creator is as a being that's just so humongous, because you have to think of all creation that's been feeding back to this single point that comes back out again. It's just like, whoa.
I know, yeah. So the human mind finds that very hard to
So now this is where we're going. We're going into these other dimensions. So now we're going to start going up and around, and then, we'll get back into the third. So the whole thing this week is to understand the I am presence and understand what's behind the I am, and what are you doing, for that, and to kind of relate to that in your life. And no shame, no blame, no guilt. And we're all like, we're allowed to experience what we need to experience for our soul's growth.
Sounds good. That sounds really good. Thank you so much,
All
Jeffrey.
right,
That's
so
wonderful. So, where are we heading next week? Throat chakra, do you think?
throat chakra.
Throat chakra. Sounds very
All
good.
right,
Thank you so
bye.
much.
Have a great week.
See ya.
All right, bye.